Hello and welcome to another episode of Bath & Body Works Empties. Before we go over the home fragrance and body care empties that we have been saving up for about 3 months now, I wanted to address the scenery change. This is actually one of the rooms in the upstairs of my house, and we have been working on redecorating it from the floor up essentially, and it's not quite done yet. There's just one more piece I'm waiting for in the mail, and then maybe I'll do a grand reveal, at least on my Instagram. By the way, if you're not following me on Instagram, there's my handle, you should go follow me. But I will show you once it's done on Instagram. It's super cute, and sometimes I might film a video here, but I just couldn't wait anymore because, because we did get in our kind of Valentine/spring set for our couch, and Percy is going to be joining us with our empties video today. So take a look at what all we have to cover. I've got this huge bin here. It's full of candles, hand soaps, body care, whoa. Since there is so much to go through, I'm gonna try and speed through it all, so if you need to pause to look closer at a packaging, then I invite you to do so, but without further ado, let's get started. So it looks like we used up 11 hand soaps. Most of them are foaming, but there are a couple of gel soaps. I like to give credit where credit is due, so I will try and do my best to specify which ones were used upstairs, which is mainly my mom using them, sometimes me, versus the ones that were used downstairs, which is me plus mainly Jose. That way we can kind of have a battle of the family members of who used up the most products, kind of. First up, we used up this Carnival Kettle Corn, and I really liked this fragrance. This one was used upstairs in the laundry room, and we used this as a summer transitional into fall fragrance. We finally finished it this winter, so in the laundry room we don't wash hands as often as like the bathrooms, for instance, so it was slow, but it had Funfair popcorn, golden vanilla, and toffee drizzle. Upstairs bathroom, we used up a pumpkin pecan waffles gel soap. If I remember correctly, this one was more of a Thanksgiving into winter kind of fragrance. Maple syrup, golden waffles, and pumpkin spice. I love this one, but if you are not a sweets fan, you will not like it because it is super sweet, but I love that. Also in the upstairs bathroom is this cute peppermint sugar cookie, definitely a favorite. This one has notes of crushed peppermint, vanilla extract, creamy butter, and soft sugar cookies. I love this fragrance and I hope it comes back every year. This one was used in the bathroom upstairs. So it's super satisfying when we use up whole collections at the same time, but we were able to get these used up in the bathroom upstairs, these 3. Let's start with, I think the first one we did was the holiday mistletoe. This one has notes of frozen cranberries, icy peppermint, and balsam branches. Now, to me, it didn't smell like any of those 3 things, and I'm not really sure why. It wasn't really floral, but it was like a pretty scent, but it did not smell like peppermint at all. Maybe a little bit of cranberry, and I don't get much balsam either. It just kind of has a nondescript, this smells like a pretty soap kind of smell. So I probably wouldn't purchase it again, but if I ended up buying everything like in a matching collection and this happened to be a part of it, I'd still buy it, just I wouldn't go out of my way to choose this fragrance. After the holiday mistletoe, we used a tried and true. This is Merry and Bright, but it's the fragrance Twisted Peppermint. To refresh your memory on this one, it's cool peppermint, sugared snow, and fresh balsam. Now this one is where it's at. I will always rebuy this one. One of their oldest Christmas fragrances, Winter Candy Apple, is the last one of that set. And this one has red apples, winter rose petals, and candied oranges. I find that on my skin, Winter Candy Apple mainly smells of roses. So we actually used this one in February. So it was kind of like a Valentine's Day scent. So there's a funny story on this Autumn Pumpkin Gentle Foaming Hand Soap. I like this scent a lot, but when Jose used it, it smelled awful on his skin, and I'm not sure why. The notes are warm pumpkin, cinnamon sugar, and clove buds. It must be something to do with the pumpkin because he normally likes clove and cinnamon sugar and stuff like that, but I don't know. It just smelled really bad on him. So while I used this one downstairs by myself, he worked on using this one. This is one of my all-time favorite hand soap fragrances, so once in a while I stole a pump or 2 as well, but this is spiced clove and citrus. It has notes of crushed clove, fresh orange, and creamy sandalwood. Moving into January, Jose and I used this one up downstairs. This is Winter. This is mainly a home fragrance, like for candles at Bath & Body Works, but whenever they have it in a hand soap, I always find it's quite nice. This has spiced orange, fir balsam, and clove buds. These are the last 2 hand soaps that we use. We use these ones downstairs, and they are oldies. They're from 2018, and the first one we used was Candy Cane Bliss, which has notes of winter peppermint, vanilla, and whipped cream. And then we actually just finished the lemon buttercream yesterday, so it was perfect timing. This one has notes of sugared lemon, whipped vanilla, and graham cracker crumbles. Love both of them. So I feel like the last few times I've done empties, we've been a little bit on the low side of the hand sanitizers, and it's because we've been switching over mainly to using the big pump ones, and we finally finished up a couple of large pump sanitizers. So I'm going to show you those next. They are both in the fragrance Sunshine and Lemons, except this one is a little bit older, and this one's a little bit of a newer one, and this one is actually the moisturizing formula, and we definitely like the moisturizing ones better than this one. So if the fragrance that you're trying to find ever comes in the moisturizing formula, I highly recommend that one if you have more tendency for dry skin. Love the fragrance. It's a little bit on the grapefruity side. It's a nice tart, vibrant lemon. It's not too overly sweet, so it's definitely an invigorating scent. And then I've got these two little ones here. This is Sweet Cinnamon Pumpkin, or technically the Perfect Pumpkin. It's a Halloween one. And then this one here is French Lavender. My sister mainly used this one, but then when I saw that it was almost an empty, I took it and used it up myself. But look at this. It's a gratis from back when I used to work there. This time around, my sister had done a really good job using up some candles. I think she had a lot of tail ends or already started candles, and she really worked on finishing them up. So I'm gonna start with hers first. I think this is from 2019 or 18. I can't remember, but man, I remember when this came out. It was such a good one. This is Cherry Mocha, and the fragrance notes are sweet cherry, decadent chocolate, and whipped cream topping. Always down for a chocolate cherry scent. She also used up Iced Vanilla Woods, and this one is good if you like a little bit of sweet, but more on the musky side. This one has notes of iced lavender, sweet vanilla, and ebony woods. It almost has a cologne scent to it, but it's a little bit too sweet to be truly what we call a mandel or a man candle. She helped me use up this one. This is Stress Relief Eucalyptus Tea. I lit it a couple of times and I just didn't like the way that it smelt diffusing around the house. I like it in the body care a lot more, so I burnt it twice or so and then passed it along to her and she used it up. She had a couple of off-season single wick candles as well. Fiji White Sands. This is one of my favorite scents of all time. The notes aren't on the jar itself, but from what I remember, it's kind of like a coconut, sugar cane, and maybe like a papaya or something like that. If that's wrong, that's at least what it smells like to me anyways. Last but not least of my sister's candles, she used up a lemon mint leaf single wick candle. And this one also doesn't have the notes on it, but it smells very herbaceous and it's very strong. It is citrusy, but mainly herbaceous in my opinion. It has like a lemongrass scent to it. The next batch of candles is the ones that we used in the upstairs of the house. We had 2 Thanksgiving candles this year, the single wick, and then we also did a 3 wick that I think we did kind of in that in-between phase while we were still in November, but not quite yet all the way Christmas. This one we did on actual Thanksgiving, and this is Harvest Gathering. I'm not entirely sure if this is a controversial opinion or not, but it's very similar to Leaves, but I think it's a little bit better than Leaves. This is the other candle that we burnt around Thanksgiving time, and this is Sweet Kettle Corn. Freshly popped kettle corn, creamy caramel, and sprinkled with sugar and sea salt. I haven't burned the buttery popcorn candle yet from last summer's collection. I found that that was more of a savory popcorn, while this one you can tell it definitely has that sugary note in it to help kind of sweeten it up. And I feel like I'm gonna be more of a fan of the sweet as opposed to the savory, but I guess I'll have to burn that buttery popcorn before I truly know. Also, this one isn't as weird as it sounds. I thought it was gonna be really unusual to smell popcorn in the house, like in a candle form, but it actually worked really well as a home fragrance. This is the same fragrance as I showed you in the gel hand soap. This is Winter, another classic. It has white woods, pine needles, sparkling clementine, and spiced clove. We really enjoyed this one this year. We've enjoyed it past years, but it was one of those ones that we skipped a couple of years just to kind of burn up some other scents. And when we smelt it burning again, we're like, oh, why did we ever stop? Next one up, we burned 'Tis the Season upstairs. And this one has notes of rich red apples, sweet cinnamon, and cedarwood. Once again, this may be another potentially controversial opinion, but I like 'Tis the Season better than Spiced Apple Toddy because it's more of a rich, juicy red apple scent. Spiced Apple Toddy almost has more of a clovey, spicy scent, which sometimes can be a little bit too much for my nose personally, but this one has more apple in it and I like it that way. These were actually just from last December at Candle Day we got these, and we got Iced Winter Balsam, which has notes of frozen eucalyptus, sugared pine, and fresh balsam. And then the other one, this one was really nice too, cinnamon sugared pecans. I thought this one was really tasty because it smells kind of like when you make cinnamon sugar pecans, like that kind of toffee honeyed coating that goes on the nuts. To me, that's what this mainly smelled like. It has notes of warm cinnamon, toasted pecans, and brown sugar. Last of the upstairs candles is Vanilla Snowflake. This is one of my favorites. I feel like I've said that a lot today. This has frozen vanilla, iced fir needle, mint leaf, and coconut flakes. The way I best describe this candle is, you know how in ice cream you've got a French vanilla and then you've got vanilla bean, and the French vanilla is like that awkward yellow ice cream, but the vanilla bean is like that cold crisp vanilla that's just so pure. This is not the awkward yellow vanilla, this is the fresh crispy vanilla. Next up is the downstairs candles. I won't reread the notes, but we also did the same exact Vanilla Snowflake candle downstairs in the basement. This was our downstairs fall into winter fragrance, our transitional candle, and this is Pumpkin Bonfire. White pumpkin, bundle of clove buds, and glowing embers. This was really similar to white pumpkin, but it definitely was a lot more smoky. Here we have gingerbread marshmallow. This one has notes of gingerbread spice, eggnog, spiced rum, vanilla frosting, and brown sugar crystals. I thought that this one it wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing either. It was cozy, but it wasn't like wow factor on the fragrance department. It was just kind of neutral, cozy bakery smell, but it didn't have anything very descript or to cling to that way. So I probably won't repurchase this fragrance again. Peppermint sugar cookie, a favorite. This one has crushed peppermint, vanilla extract, creamy butter, soft sugar cookies. This is very similar to another favorite, peppermint marshmallow. This one has more of a sugar cookie, buttery cookie dough kind of scent. So I really enjoy this one. I will always rebuy this when I see it in stores. And then we had 2 single wick candles. We had this one in the 3 wick upstairs, but this is a tester candle of white balsam and vanilla. It's kind of like fresh balsam, but a little bit more toned down and a tiny bit sweeter. Last but not least, we had the single wick candle of the Perfect Christmas. I kind of view this candle as if Marshmallow Fireside got a Christmassy facelift. It has notes of marshmallow, cinnamon sugar, and pine tree, or maybe it's balsam, I can't remember, but either way, some type of tree scent. And it pretty much smells like Marshmallow Fireside, but Christmassy. 5 single wick candles and 13 3 wick candles. I think we did a really good job this winter. I know in the colder seasons, we always burn more candles than the warmer months. So I feel like we accomplished a lot that time around. For wallflower fragrances, we used white balsam and vanilla, the classic winter, 'Tis the Season. This is an oldie, but bourbon sea salt caramel. And last but not least, not Fiji white sand. So the story on the not Fiji white sand, what it actually is chestnut and clove, I think. The reason this is like this is the cap to the wallflower. This one didn't have a tag when I purchased it. I bought it 75% off a many number of years ago at a semi-annual sale. It's pretty much to save it from the trash, so if I didn't buy it, it was gonna end up being in the damages bin, so I just wanted to buy it and save it, and I liked the fragrance. So at the time they were selling Fiji White Sands as well, that was in a light blue color, but I didn't realize that they also had chestnut and clove in the blue color, so I just kind of assumed it was Fiji White Sands, wrote it on there, and then when we smelled it, I was like, that's not Fiji White Sands. And so that's why it says not Fiji White Sands. I personally did a really bad job using up body care because I was trying so many new fragrances this time around, but some of my other family members came in and they finished up theirs, so I will show you that. I think these are the only 2 items that I would say I'm the one that used them, but these are bags of shower steamers. I think there's 6 in a bag, and this is Orange Ginger Energy, and then I had the Stress Relief Eucalyptus Spearmint. Now when they have the shower steamers, they come in those little like plastic containers, but in 2018, when they first introduced these specific kind, they were in little baggies with little individual baggies inside of them. This was a good season for using up stuff from 2018. This is another one. This is Black Cherry Merlot from a winter kind of New Year's package that they had in 2018, and I picked it up at a semi-annual sale. This one is actually one that my sister used. This has notes of dark cherry, black raspberry, and sumptuous Merlot. To me, it doesn't smell like Merlot, it smells like Kool-Aid, but it's a nice smell if you're into that kind of thing. So my mom actually had some interesting efficacious body care empties that she used up this time around, and one of them is the Cocoa Shea Honey. This is an ultra conditioning beeswax body balm. It has cocoa butter, shea butter, and pure honey in it, and it is kind of like a beeswax kind of texture, or like coconut oil, and it comes in like a thick balm. I know it was about last Christmas time they had actually released a similar product in the aromatherapy collection. I think they had it in the cinnamon sandalwood as well as the vanilla patchouli aromatherapy. It's the same kind of texture as that. It's like a body oil, but in a solid form. If my cat Percy could review the body balm, he'd give it a 10 out of 10 because anytime she tried to use this, he thought it was a snack for him. He thought it tasted good. So we had to try very hard to keep this away from him so he wouldn't try and lick it.
Yeah, you trying to lick it?
This is another one that my mom used up. This is the vanilla lip scrub, and the exfoliant in it was sugar. I forgot about these. While I didn't do as good a job on the full-size items, I did use up these two little hand creams. This one is cucumber melon, and this one is sweet cinnamon pumpkin. There's a closer look at those, and these are both classic 1990s fragrances at Bath & Body Works. So I had fun kind of having throwback scents using those. These ones were like 95% Jose, 5% me, but this is the Aromatherapy Lavender Vanilla shampoo and conditioner. I really enjoyed this. It's very aromatic for being a shampoo and conditioner. I find that usually in that department for hair care, things aren't as good smelly. And so it's nice to have something very fragrant. If you're familiar with the fragrance Lavender Vanilla from Bath & Body Works, it's also one that's been around forever. I find it mainly is a powdery floral as opposed to being really heavy on lavender or vanilla. It kind of reminds me more of a baby powder scent, but it's very soothing and calming, and it's supposed to be a part of their sleep collection. So I would probably repurchase these if they were on a sale of some kind. Jose used up Clear Horizon in the shower gel. This one has notes of fresh lavender, zesty citrus, and Pacific cedarwood. I find that he tends to like both herbaceous scents and citrusy scents, so I think he really enjoyed this one. Very last but not least is a throwback, Jasmine and Green Apple. I've heard a lot of people say that this is quite similar to Perfect Peony. I don't actually really feel like it is because this one isn't as floral, in my opinion, as Perfect Peony. This was a part of a collection that came out January of 2019, so it was right at the start of the new year, and it was kind of like a hit refresh kind of collection made with natural essential oils. It also had in the collection a wild berry chamomile that was really good, and we still really enjoyed that one a lot. But Jose has been using up a body butter and a mist of this one because it smells better on him than it does me, to be honest. So yeah, he's the one that deserves the credit for using up the Jasmine Green Apple. And that sums everything up. Thank you so much for watching this Empties video. Make sure you tune in next Monday, because next Monday I'm going to be updating my rolling cart of all of the scents that I'm going to be using for March, and hopefully it will be a little more springy then. I think when I update my fragrances this next time, it's going to include lots of use it up and partial used body care because I did such a low job of using up body care and I used mainly new bottles this year. So I'm going to hopefully remedy that by using up a lot of new ones. So make sure you tune in next Monday and see what I'm going to be wearing. Until next time, bye.